Ramana Maharshi's teachings. How to control and calm the mind with breath control, Pranayama. I am presenting here excerpts from talks with Ramana Maharshi about breath control, Pranayama. A conversation. A visitor asked how to realize oneself in accordance with Maharshi's instructions contained in his text Truth Revealed Supplement, that is, 40 verses on reality supplement, verse 8. The visitor's difficulty was in controlling the mind. The verse is as follows. In the center of the heart cave, there shines alone the one Brahman as the I, the Atman. Reach the heart by diving deep in quest of the self, or by controlling the mind with the breath, and stay established in the Atman. Maharshi. Controlling the mind is to be done by controlling the breath. If you practice it by yourself without other help, then the mind is controlled. Otherwise, the mind comes under control spontaneously in the presence of a superior power. Such is the greatness of association with the wise, satsanga. Another conversation. Maharshi. In the absence of enquiry and devotion, the natural sedative, pranayama, breath regulation, may be tried. This is known as yoga marga. If life is imperiled, the whole interest centers around one point, the saving of life. If the breath is held, the mind does not and cannot afford to jump at its pets, external objects. Thus, there is rest for the mind so long as the breath is held. All attention being turned on breath or its regulation, other interests are lost. Again, passions are attended with irregular breathing, whereas calm and happiness are attended with slow and regular breathing. Paroxysm of joy is in fact as painful as one of pain, and both are accompanied by ruffled breaths. Real peace is happiness. Pleasures do not form happiness. The mind improves by practice and becomes finer just as the razor's edge is sharpened by stropping. The mind is then better able to tackle internal or external problems. Another conversation. Visitor. Sir, I encounter difficulties in meditation. Weakness and giddiness afflict me after I practice concentration. Maharshi. Breath control, pranayama, properly performed, should increase one's strength. Another conversation. Maharshi. Control of breath may be internal or external. Anta pranayama, the internal breath regulation, is as follows. Naham chinta, I am not the body idea, is rechaka, exhalation. Koham, who am I, is puraka, inhalation. Soham, I am that, is kumbhaka, retention of breath. Doing thus, the breath becomes automatically controlled. Bahi Pranayama, external control, is for one not endowed with strength to control the mind. There is no method so sure as that, or a sage's, a sadhu's company. If in a sage's company, the sage provides the needed strength, though unseen by others, pranayama need not be exactly as described in Hatha Yoga. If engaged in japa, dhyana, bhakti, and so on, that is, chanting, meditation, devotion, and so on, just a little control of breath will suffice to control the mind. The mind is the rider and the breath the horse. Breath control, pranayama, is a check on the horse. By that check, the rider is checked. Pranayama may be done just a little. To watch the breath is one way of doing it. The mind, abstracted from other activities, is engaged in watching the breath. That controls the breath, and in its turn, the mind is controlled. Rechaka, exhalation, and puraka, inhalation, need not be practiced if unable to do so. Breath may be retained a short while in japa, dhyana, and so on, that is, chanting, meditation, and so on. Then too, good results will follow. Another conversation. Visitor: what is pranayama, breath control? Maharishi: pranayama, according to jnana, or the path of knowledge, is naham, koham, soham. This is vichara, self-enquiry. This vichara brings about the desired result. Naham, I am not this, is outbreathing, exhalation. Koham, who am I, is inbreathing, inhalation. Soham, I am that, is retention of breath, holding the breath. For one not so advanced as to engage in this kind of breath control, some meditation brings about suspension of breath, and the mind ceases to be restless. Control of mind spontaneously effects control of breath. Rather, kevala kumbhaka results, that is, spontaneous retention of breath without attention to inhalation or exhalation results. For one who is unable to do this too, regulation of breath is prescribed for making the mind quiet. Quietness lasts only so long as the breath is controlled, so it is transient. So the goal is clearly not pranayama, breath control. Control of mind is the aim. Another conversation. A visitor wanted peace of mind and asked how to get it. Maharishi: seek the mind. On being sought, it will disappear. The mind is only a bundle of thoughts. The thoughts arise because there is the thinker. The thinker is the ego. The ego, if sought, will vanish automatically. The ego and the mind are the same. The ego is the root thought from which all other thoughts arise. Visitor: how to seek the mind? Maharishi: dive within. You are now aware that the mind rises up from within. So sink within and seek. You are practicing breath control. Mechanical breath control will not lead one to the goal. It is only an aid. While doing it mechanically, take care to be alert in mind and remember the I thought and seek its source. Then you will find that where breath sinks, there I thought arises. They sink and rise together. The I thought also will sink along with breath. Simultaneously, another luminous and infinite I will become manifest, which will be continuous and unbroken. That is the goal. It goes by different names: God, Self, Kundalini Shakti, Consciousness, Yoga, Bhakti, Jnana, and so on. When the attempt is made, it will of itself take you to the goal